Hello, hello. This is podcast Me Spanish Pitch. My name is Tatiana Skaidan, and today we have a pleasure to talk to Emilio Corchado, founder of Startup Olé. Hi.
Great pleasure for us to be here with you and with your team.
The pleasure is mine. We have a tradition in this podcast. We start with a pitch, classical pitch, because any venture, any startup, any business has pain, has problem to solve, has a solution, and many things behind. So what's the pain, the problem for Startup Olé?
Well, what we are here for is clear, is to support and connect startups, scale-ups with the rest of the ecosystem, mainly investors, corporates, media, universities to get connected with the talent, governments, so with the whole ecosystem. So this is what we are here for, to support and to connect startups and to accelerate the process, to help them, what for? To establish, to connect, to grow, and to, why not, get an exit as soon as possible. And of course, in the middle means also to scale up.
And what's the solution? How do you do it?
Well, for that, we work hard. We have a great team working almost 24/7, helping such startups and scale-ups to connect, as I say, and for that we are establishing a lot of partnerships, connections with members, and this means we attract everybody to big events. Now you know that we are in Marbella. In few weeks, in few days, we will be in Marbella. In May, also in Salamanca in October. We gathered 5,000 people working together, and now our major international event in Miami, connecting Europe, Latin America, and United States all together in Miami. So this is mainly how we do it. Of course, for that, we have also European projects, national projects, regional projects, helping us to establish such bridges.
Perfect. Let's go back to 2015, then all started. What was the mission, and is it the same nowadays in 2 years, in 10 years?
12 years ago, I used to go a lot to Brussels and meet a lot of people from the European Commission, and I was really lucky because few years ago I started to connect with them, and they were introducing me to the world of startups. Because 12 years ago, 14 years ago, the word startup was not so common.
It was a wild world. Not discovered, no rules, no one understood what's going on.
Well, at least in Spain, it was not so common, and normally it was not so common. Of course, in the United States, yes, or UK, but not everywhere in Spain or whatsoever. So I thought as a professor at the University of Salamanca, it was interesting also to get connected to this world, and I started to attend meetings, to meet people, to do networking, and start to learn from really scratch, meeting investor, accelerator in Europe, the best guys, and this is how we started. Why? Because I thought this could be really interesting to generate a community and connect them a bit more with the University of Salamanca and my networking, my network, right? So I thought, let's meet these people and not really big aims, is start to work and start to know a new world.
And who was the first unicorn from University of Salamanca?
Unicorn is a big word, but we can say that we have really an incredible company called Tebrio. They are dealing with bags, with proteins, deep tech. And, I don't know if it's public or not, but what was public is that a few years ago, due to attending a Startup Olé, connecting with Caixa Capital Risks, and then with Sedeti, they raised 50 million euros. and now the numbers, the figures has increased. I think they are already around 80 millions, but I don't know, because these figures are sometimes complex. But they are generating a new industry, because it's about bags, new industry, new machines, everything is new, and they are building a massive plant in Salamanca. So we are really happy about that.
Incredible story. And it also started like 10 years ago.
Well, many years ago, I mean, probably 8 but it was at the very beginning, when we are not even sure about what we were doing at that time. Because, open innovation is a path to learn, and, you become more and more professional and more focused, but at the beginning, you do everything because you are not really a master on it, or we were not really a masters on it. We were learning, but we were lucky because we learned from the best people, from the best partner in Europe.
Startup Olé is connecting 3 continents: Europe, the US, you are present in Miami, and also South America.
Exactly.
So how do you do that? So what's the mission behind, and what problem are you solving for connecting European businesses, startups, investors, university world across 3 continents?
Right, Tatiana, I mean, it is easy to explain now, but again, the vision the vision and the mission at the beginning was not really defined, right? But as soon as you move, you identify also what you are looking for. So we were born with a European heart. With European project, we were leading a big project called Welcome, connecting Madrid, Salamanca, Berlin, Dublin, and Milan. But also Salamanca, Spain, we have also a big feeling about Iberoamerica, right? So then we thought, hey, it's time also to work with our brothers, with our friends from Argentina, Chile, Brazil, Colombia, Mexico. And so then we start to organize events in all these countries for 7 years already, also including the pandemia period. We were doing digital events, and the very first event in that countries at big level were a Startup Olé event. And from there, we also this is how we work, also listening the market, and the market was telling us Miami, 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 Miami. So this is why we also jump into Miami, and we have already organized 2 events there, because Miami is becoming also, of course, the very top city or capital of Iberoamerica is Miami, is Madrid, sorry, is Madrid. This is, we feel also from Madrid, of course. But then the second big city now in the other side of the Atlantic Ocean is Miami, and this is also our big next scope.
But when we are talking about Miami and working with the US, aren't we talking about brain drain? I mean, because any startup, European, from any city is dreaming about American market. And if you bring in European startups to the US, they stay there normally because more money, because more opportunities, because the market is bigger and the reputation, etc. So how do you deal with that? I mean, how do you develop Spanish tech ecosystem not to give them too much to another continent, another country?
Well, we have in Spanish, I don't know the English expression, but you cannot put doors to the countryside, right? I don't know the English expression from that. For sure there is something like that. What I try to say is that whatever is going to happen is going to happen. So, I mean, but we are not thinking about United States as the way to run away from Europe. It's also another market that, I mean, our dream is to grow and to help. Do not forget our challenge is to help and support startups and scale-ups, right? And obviously the United States market is really relevant. But when we talk about Miami, I have introduced Miami as another capital, or the big capital of Latin America, right? So we are, if you are in Miami, you are ruling the whole Latin America. And this is Iberoamerica, and this is connecting us with Spain, Portugal, and so on, and Europe in a way. So we are talking, if we talk about part of Europe, if we talk about Latin America and Miami, I'm talking now about the Spanish language, right? We are talking probably around more than 800 million customers market. Everybody talking the same language, right? So I do not talk about Miami just as the way to enter United States. I talk about a market covering Iberoamerica, right? And this is really relevant. And any European connected with Spain, Portugal is also connected with such a market. So talking about a market, if you include maybe the south of Florida, we are talking about such market, 800, 900 million potential customers. So this is relevant for us. And then Spaniards have a great reputation there. Right. First point. Now about Europe. I mean, you could go through San Francisco or through New York, but for us, Spaniards, right, it is easier to go to United States through Miami because there is a massive community about Spanish-talking people. So we need people that want to talk with you. So they may be the interface to move to more more gringos, right? So, but it is difficult to talk directly with the gringos, right? So you need your interfaces, go through a path, and then start to talk with investors from Latin America, which are based in Miami, and then your network grows, and then you can talk with more United States funds. So this is the idea. And of course, I mean, we do not, our aim is not just support startups to run away from Europe. It's a way to grow, keeping their headquarters here in Europe, right? But they do not sign an agreement with us. So it is based on them. We know the problem. This is why, for instance, we collaborate with the Spanish Agency of Innovation called CDTA, and we emphasize the role of Iberoamerica and keeping everybody on their countries, but generating a big market, right? Helping them to stay at home. But we cannot force anybody to do what we want. The market tell you what to do.
I love the idea about this connecting these continent dots and making and offering the bigger picture.
Actually, Tatiana, I was talking with some representative of authorities in the United States, and they were telling us, what is your idea? Bring startups here or take the startups from the United States? I say our aim, our challenge is to connect and to put people in touch, connecting the dots. We don't want anybody running away from anywhere. We just connect people, and then things happen.
Can you describe a bit the tech landscape of startups nowadays in terms of most profitable verticals? I mean, nowadays, the most growing, skyrocketing is fintech, cybersecurity. I mean, the main tracks you are following and main talents from Spain coming in these verticals.
Well, I think there are new technologies, right, which are becoming the key point, right? I mean, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, all this stuff is a must these days, right? So and then apply them to verticals, in Spain, all over fintech. If you go to Latin America, fintech. But also in Europe, right? Now, energy, mobility, sustainability. Please do not forget what happened a few years ago. We need to put a lot of effort in biotech, e-health. This is connected with deep tech, right? Europe and Spain should be leading deep tech scenario, right? So I think there are many of these, but these days everything is so global that you can apply AI, cybersecurity. It has to be applied to all sectors. And there are rankings of what is going on in Europe and in Spain. So I think, but our vision also from Startup Olé is that I mentioned some of them, which are really relevant. Of course, coming from Salamanca and from a region like Castilla y León, probably Ukraine is in a way connected to that. Agri-food, right, is really important, and more investors are getting focused on it. But you also know that space, right, aerospace, all this is also really relevant. And I don't want to go into this, but somehow there is another market that I think is a pity, but we all watch TV these days, and we see that there is a new big investment in Europe going into army and military stuff, right? So defense, all this stuff, maybe it's not what we were looking for, but it is another big sector which is going to grow non-stop, regardless what we think and regardless what is the aim of that, right? But if the aim of that is to be safe and be secure, we have to invest on it, I guess.
Yeah, this is the reality. But let's come back to, we're in Madrid, we're in Spain, and for instance, I'm a Spanish startup. So I'm a student of public university in Spain. So I have a brilliant idea.
We love that.
What should I start with?
Well, first is start to attend interesting events helping you to start to meet in a friendly and let's say cheap way with the ecosystem, because then you start to see how everybody is interacting, and it is a really new paradigm about how to get a job, how to build your startup or whatsoever your company, right? So first advice, go to Startup Olé or any other type of event, which is free, and because don't spend a lot of money getting there, and start to see the dynamic. Start to go with somebody else. Don't go alone if possible, because it's easy. And see how a startup is. How start to talk with a startup in the way like, hey, what do you do? Blah blah blah. So you can see how they are selling their product, because this is also important. How to sell your product when you have a startup. Also see the dynamic about how a startup is doing a pitch, right? So you learn how to talk to an investor. You cannot spend 10 minutes talking to an investor. You need 2-3 minutes, no more, and then the investor will tell you few advices, and if he or she is interested, he will ask you for your contact. If not, learn and run away, right? Run to another activity. So learn how to pitch, learn the dynamics, how to connect, and these are the really first steps. Then this will help you also. You have ideas, maybe at the university, wherever. If you go to this event, it also will help you to connect with somebody else complementary to you. If you have the idea, okay, but in a startup, you need the idea, whoever. You need to implement it, probably some computer science people. Then you need, of course, a business model, even before the computer science or whatever, the business model. So try to talk with somebody from economy area, whatever, do your business plan, and also you need to communicate what you do, right? Branding and communication. So you need people from all these areas for sure, maybe more, but at least these 4: idea, business model, implementation, and branding and communication. And you don't need to have money to launch your startup. You need to connect with these guys and offer to them a part of your company, 10%.
Shares.
Exactly, shares. And from there you can start. Of course, do your PowerPoint, try from there to start. When you go into a serious stuff, try to talk. Now then you need to go for real to such events where you are going to talk with many business angels, very first step, so you can build your MVP, and from there you fly. If you have talent, if you work a lot, if you have a great idea, you have a great team, blah, 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 and then you become a unicorn.
Sounds like a fairy tale, honestly. But still, everything comes to money one day. So speaking about Spain, the most probable and open fund sources here in Spain. When I have already MVP, I have a brilliant team, everything is verified, so I have a business plan, etc. So business angel communities, European Union funds, maybe some venture capitalists. So who would you recommend in 2025?
Well, there is the whole layer of steps. Let's say that. So if it depends on your where you are, right? If you are starting, you need to go to talk with business angels. I mean, there are many in our events. For example, we have René de Jong, we have people from Core Angel, we have people from Keirechu Forum, many more, right? Enrique Sanchez, many others, and they are really available, and maybe you don't get money, but you get advices in a very friendly way, and this is helping you to go to the next step, right? So then also at that time you should start to think about ENISA, about CDTA, about all these which are for the first step. Let's say that, but you need to show traction and so on, and then start to get ready for other venture funds, right? You have from small to big ones, and the big ones are for instance, Cafan, Action Partner, Altamira Ventures, and many others, right? So there is the whole variety of possibilities. And of course, if you want to go international, then go to Miami and start to talk with guys from Miami, from Latin America, and from the United States. But not just to stop your business in Spain or Europe, just to move to the next level and start smoothly to know how to start to operate in the United States.
Speaking about Spanish startup, any Spanish startup right now, maybe you can right now mention someone who is fascinating you. I mean, you are in love with this idea, and maybe you can praise some of them.
As I said, as I say, it's also like with investor and so on. For me, are all great, and we need as many as possible to support the community. Also with the startup and the scale up, I mentioned one because is really interesting for me, as they are growing a lot. They are from Salamanca, and also it's a really successful case where deep tech technology is leveraging a great industry, let's say in a small city like Salamanca. right? So I say Tebrio. My favorite one is Tebrio, no for other reasons than they were getting a big investment in a startup Olé. Also, they were coming invited by the Diputación de Salamanca. So is the whole machinery working, and all our efforts in connecting the dots were really making a big boom. So I say that, but for me, all of them are really great, right? Even those who were not successful, because also it's part of this ecosystem and this reality, right? So big thanks to all of them to be close to us and to make the Spaniard community and ecosystem more and more relevant every single day.
What's your forecast for Spanish tech ecosystem for next 5-10 years? I mean, how do you see it in terms of development of European Union, of this globalization we have, and also facing all the challenges we have nowadays?
Well, I think this is not new. I mean, we have a lot of talent. The Spanish ecosystem is getting more and more mature. We are more and more connected, and also, which is very relevant, is that we have important hubs. So Madrid, Barcelona, Valencia, and so on, and many other hubs which are also growing, like Salamanca and so on, right? So we have an incredible variety of ecosystems. We have a lot of talent. Our venture capital ecosystem is becoming more and more robust. We are also more and more international, but I guess this is clear. We are not so powerful as other ecosystems. We have been talking about United States and so on. So I think we should also keep working in that way to somehow give more opportunities to our scale-ups, the bigger ones, and keep some then connected to our ecosystem, and don't lose them, as you were mentioning before, right? So try to identify good formulas for keeping them for keeping the Spanish DNA and don't lose them. But I guess this is not just easy to achieve.
Let's wrap up this interview with a series of call to action, let's say. For instance, Startup Olé, call to action for governmental bodies, because one of the challenges for Spanish tech ecosystem is, for instance, taxes issues and also registration of the company, because it hurts here to run business, and muy doloroso.
Yes.
In many things. So what would be your call to action to governmental bodies?
Well, I think, as you are saying, some actors of the ecosystem are mentioned the fact of the tax, and if we look to the West, here we see how some countries on our West, this means Portugal, is attracting investors and startups from Spain and from Europe.
Exactly, more flexible.
More flexible, right? Hello, this is an example, but I think also putting more. I mean, we are in touch with many bodies, governmental bodies, and they are doing their best, right? A different matter is that such bodies, they have to interact with the tax ministry, and I guess in that way it is not so easy to change things. Also, I think the group of investors are launching, are raising their voices because they want to be recognized as a group of business angels, associations, and so on. So there are few points to improve. If these things cannot be changed, I'm sure that there is a reason, and that reason is not depending on the people of the governmental bodies who are in charge of the startup ecosystem. I guess if they have not changed it so far, is because they cannot, and it is depending on somebody else. So, well, what can we say? There is a law, startup law, and I guess many people has already said their really professional and expertise view about how to change it. So I cannot focus on or claim things like that when it is not my role. My role is support startups and scale-ups in the way I can. We do our best, and somebody else had to change the world regarding administration and political actions.
But we're looking for balance. But if you were a startup, where would you register your company? In Spain. So we are not looking for some escape to Andorra, Estonia, etc., but in Spain, because there are different also ecosystems within Spain. I mean, there are options in Melilla, for instance, in Bilbao, in Madrid, in Barcelona, in Salamanca, I'm sure. So it differs.
Yes. I mean, the reality these days is, this is my vision, and vision with an example, right? I think you can launch your business anywhere in Spain, as soon as you have a nice internet connection, blah, blah, blah. But now, where we do business, right? I am going to ask you a question, meantime. Where are we today?
In Madrid.
Where things happen at a big scale in inner Spain happens in Madrid, right? So if you come to Madrid, you can the same day talk with many people, meet many people. I was coming to this interview, and at the entrance of the building, somebody was telling me, "Hey, Emilio, hello, how are you doing? What are you doing here?" Right? So things happen in Madrid. It is easier. It is a matter of networking density, and as I say, you can launch your business wherever, but you have to stay connected to the biggest ecosystems and hubs. And Madrid, for me, is the largest one in Spain. Of course. Why is the largest? Because I am living 200 kilometers far away. In Barcelona, there is many things happen, but I cannot stay in Barcelona going every day from Salamanca because it's far away. So also you need to take to look what is closer to you. But what I try to say is that launch your business wherever, but you have to ensure that you are able to stay, in our case, 1-2 days in the big hub next to you. Because yes, every day you can do everything today online, but it is not the same. And you need also serendipity, right? And serendipity happens in big cities, in the nice events. What are the biggest number of events in the big cities? So you go there and meet people and blah, blah, blah. I always say that it is a pity, but we are in Salamanca and 3 minutes far away from the Plaza Mayor main square, but nobody pass by the door of a Startup Olé every single day, coming by luck and knock the door and enter, "Hey, I want to do business with you." No, you need to go where the business are. This is Madrid. Now also there are many big things happening in Marbella. This is why we are going there. We are talking about Europe. Some people like you or your families are in Marbella, and so on. So in Marbella are also happening many big things because there are many international players, but we are not talking and working with them. And this is what is Startup Olé Marbella doing exactly, connecting the international ecosystem there with the Spanish ecosystem. And Miami, the same. Many things happen there at United States and Latin America case. So anywhere you can launch, but you have to be clear that things happen in major hubs, and you have to be really related to such major hubs. Madrid, Barcelona, Málaga, Marbella, Miami, whatever. But you have to be focused and work such networking.
Call to action to investors from community of Startup Olé.
We are really happy. I mean, we are in touch with many of them. They have their timing. This means they know what they are looking for. There are periods which they are faster. They have to take their time, in the sense that money sometimes is not. It takes a while, and this is it. But they are doing their job. The money is ready for the talent. They mentioned that there is more money than ideas, good ideas.
So still more money than ideas. So
for sure, but a different point is when they invest, or which is the period that they need to invest, because sometimes the money, la plata es miedosa. Yeah, the investor take more time, but we cannot complain about, or at least this is my view. They are very active, more and more business angels. The ecosystem, the investor landscape in Spain is getting more mature. New venture capital, new opportunities. But sometimes when you talk with them, they say, if there is a good idea, we invest. So no complaints.
And last call to action for startups. Just to encourage them, be braver, study more, be not so shy. I don't know, some call to action, and maybe to challenge them.
Well, do really, analyze exactly what you are good at. Pay attention to the team, a lot of effort, a lot of work, very important networking. Try to connect with as many people as possible, because you don't know what is going to happen around the corner. Be there, be very active, stay tuned with the technologies, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity. Of course, also listen the market, sustainability, social impact. Don't be just inside your thoughts. You have to be open and listen the market. This is what Startup Olé is doing. Be aware of the market, and if you have a lot of passion, because having a startup is not for everybody. If you do not get focused, have passion, work beyond the limits, and try to be relaxed, in the sense that it's going to happen, but it is not going to happen really fast. So things, success take time and a lot of work.
Thank you for your time, and thank you for a great job of Startup Olé. It was a real pleasure to talk to you, Emilio Corchado, founder of Startup Olé, connecting Spain, the United States, Miami, South America, talents, Marbella, this is the pearl in this ecosystem.
Salamanca.
Universities, investors, governmental body, and talents. This is most important. Thank you so much for being the provider of these opportunities.
Thank you very much to you for this time. Thank you for being part of also the Startup Olé community. And also very important, have clear challenges and aims, but please try to enjoy the path until you achieve it.
I love it. Enjoy the journey. Startup Olé.
Enjoy the journey. I like to say path because it's like the San James path. Yeah, and sometimes we have to be saints.